That whole drink sequence just took me like 15 minutes to film, so I hope it was worth it. Tastes great. Welcome back to yet another video in the lawn care series of trying to get my lawn from being garbage to being great. Today, we're gonna talk about sharpening your lawnmower blades. I have a Simplicity Broadmoor 44-inch deck. My 44-inch deck has 3 blades on it. Okay, for sharpening your mower blades, I think a lot of people put too much thought into this. They think it has to be too perfect. You know, they get out the polishing discs and the brass stuff and they grind it down, and it's not that difficult. All you need is a flap disc and an angle grinder. I like to use flap discs because they're so fast. So you don't have to worry about taking off too much material with a flap disc. So the balance issue is a lot less apparent than it would be in other sharpening methods. This right here is a flap disc. The flap disc is just a bunch of tiny sheets of sandpaper that are kind of back to back. You can kind of see there, they overlap each other right there. It makes super quick work of sharpening your blades. I use a 120 grit, but anything 100 to 120, 140, 150, somewhere around that range would work great. The 60 and 80 of these things will take off too much material too quickly. You can go ahead and give it a try if you want. If it's all that you have, I definitely recommend it over using other methods to sharpen your blades. So let's take a look. All right, let's get the deck off this mower. First things first, we want to relieve the tension on this belt here. So you can see it is wrapped around the drive pulley right here. So how we do that is we have a lever. We pull this lever, and at the same time we bring the belt off of the drive pulley. Release the lever. Now we're good. Now what you want to do is lower your deck. And then we're going to pull out this cotter pin right here that's holding all this stuff together. We have a lot of moving parts here. I think I need 2 hands. Okay, you'll see that I removed this pin actually instead of the cotter pin up here, just because this one was way easier to get to. There was a lot less moving parts, as you can see up there. I was trying to pull on that. So what I'm going to do is actually replace this connection with a cotter pin when I get all this back together. Just come up to the front here. We're going to pull this forward, and then we're going to lift off these 2 latches right here. We'll lift the whole thing up, and then pull out at us to remove this bar from these 2 points. Okay? Now, you want to push the deck backward a little bit. And now back on the side of the deck, what we're going to do is pull this lever to bring the whole deck this way, and then kind of rotate it around. Then we're going to pull that front bracket out while the deck is rotated like this. Okay, so it's just that simple. Here's the mower deck that we just pulled off, and you'll see something happened with these blades at some point last season. This is a very incorrect orientation for your blades. What you typically want are these 2 blades to be the same orientation, and then this middle blade to be the opposite orientation. And the reason is these blades spin counterclockwise, okay? So as this blade spins, it needs to be in an opposite rotation than the middle blade to avoid them spinning and then actually hitting the tips as they get to this middle section here. So let's take a closer look. You can see the blades as they rotate around. See how these 2 are getting close to each other? Now look at the distance between these two blades. It is extremely tiny. We are less than a quarter inch in between these two blades. So any variation in the blades would cause these to hit. The two blades this way, these ones are actually even closer. Look at that. Imagine these blades spinning their full speed and something happens in the deck where it flexes just enough that these two hit. Look at the distance between these things. It is a miracle these didn't hit when I was mowing. Okay, so I'm gonna actually show you two different ways to remove these blades. The first method is gonna be using an impact. So to get the blade off here, we need to remove the center bolt. On my specific mower, this is a 5/8 inch socket. I'll hold the blade here, and then give it a few good taps of your impact, and this will just pop right off. And then the blade comes off. Now again, remember the orientation of these blades because we want them to be the same as when we replace them. The second method to remove this is actually by using a block of wood and a ratchet. And then what you do is you take your block of wood and you jam it in between the blades as they turn. It's like this. You can kind of see that it's locked in between there. Now, this allows you to loosen the bolt without the blade actually moving. You can put your socket on here. There we go. Now it's broken free. Now I can just continue backing the bolt off. So one thing before we start, I always recommend using every PPE possible when doing this sort of thing. Not only does that include safety glasses, which, by the way, these things, not the same as these things, not the same as your Oakleys that are actually like usually pretty safe for most normal things. Safety glasses, when you're using discs like this on a grinder, can save your eyeballs. I've seen it at a shop where a guy was using a grinding disc before the disc actually snapped and flew up and hit him right in the eye. But it actually, because he's wearing his safety glasses, it only went about a quarter inch or so through the lens. Did not smash the lens, didn't break it, whatever, it just kind of stuck through. Saved his eyeball because these things are made for impact and non-shattering resistances. So super important to wear these. Also, always recommend hearing protection. I think a lot of people just don't seem to care about their hearing protection too much. People hunt without these things, they go shooting without these things, they do the work I'm about to, grinding metal without these things. I wear these when I mow my lawn. Okay, so this is super simple to do. You can see this is the dull blade. It's not very shiny, we got some divots in it. So all you have to do with your flap disc is just go up and down a couple different times, and you're gonna see this puppy sharpen right up. We do the same thing on the back side. So let's get to it. Super, super simple. You don't have to think about this too hard. And to show you, I'm gonna keep this all in real time now. I have a nail set up. We're gonna show you the balance on this. Look at that. See that? It does not mess up your balances like some other sharpening methods do. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I always love making these videos. They're a lot of fun for me to do, so like, subscribe with the button down below. And I hope you join along with me for this year-long effort to make my lawn better. We'll see you next time.